Good morning. Welcome back with the MQL Suite Morning Market Report. Margin traded investment carries considerable economic risks, and whoever carries it out under his or her sole responsibility. Therefore, the author of this teaching session assumes no responsibility for any direct or indirect damages in relation to investment decisions taken by the listener. Today is Wednesday, the 4th of September. In China, the news was released of the withdrawal of the controversial extradition bill. Hong Kong has soared after the news. The Caixin Index of Services rose to 52.1 in August, the highest score since May, easing fears of a slowing economy. In Australia, the data for the second quarter show growth in line with expectations. Seasonally adjusted GDP grew by 0.5% on a quarterly basis and by 1.4% on an annual basis. Wall Street, yesterday, the first session following the introduction of new duties on Chinese products, closed down. The US PMI data also weighed on US stocks. It was the worst in recent years. Fears of a recession increased after 10-year Treasury yields fell by around 2% in August, reaching a record low of 1.91%. Investors expect new cuts in interest rates by the Fed to avert the recession. In Italy, yesterday, the voters of the Five Star Movement voted in favor of the alliance with the PD. The appointed Prime Minister, Giuseppe Conte, will present his new government team today. In the United Kingdom do not appease Brexit tensions. After yesterday's defeat by Boris Johnson, today the British Parliament will vote to request a new postponement of Brexit to January 31st. Labour will not support any attempt by Boris Johnson to demand early elections, as they consider it a trap for a Brexit without agreement. In Canada, there is expectation for today's Bank of Canada decision on interest rates. The data shows a robust economy. Inflation is higher than expected, and the real estate market also seems to be recovering, thanks to the lowering of mortgage rates that facilitated sales. Analysts expect the central bank to leave rates unchanged at 1.75%, but are also planning to cut rates in January due to the slowdown in other economies. In agenda today, the service PMI of Italy and of the entire Eurozone, and the British inflation in August. It's a quarter to 11. The indices move upwards. Wall Street recovers yesterday losses, with the Nasdaq in an uptrend with a 1.34% gain. Among the main European indices, the FTSE MIB gains 1.39%. Among the commodities, silver is appreciated by 0.23%, the platinum is appreciated by 1.30%, and the palladium is appreciated by 0.36%. Currency pairs all move laterally. The pound is the strongest currency this morning, with a 3.15% gain on the basket. The Australian dollar gains 1.62%, euro gains 0.83%, and finally the New Zealand dollar gains 0.78%. The other currencies weaken. The Canadian dollar loses 0.64%, the Swiss franc loses 0.84%, the American dollar loses 1.50%, and finally, the Japanese yen is the weakest currency of the morning with a 3.45% losses on the basket. The best performance is recorded by GBP yen with a 0.82% gain. On the contrary, the worst performance is recorded by Euro GBP with a loss of 0.26%. That's all for the moment. If you liked our analysis, please leave a like one. Moreover, I invite you to join our Facebook group to follow our activities. Have a nice trading!